What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a second state of play, seemingly still coming in September. We'll go over that in a second, but of course, tomorrow is a state of play, right? But it's a specific game. I've actually said before, I really like these. I have nothing against like a 007 specific state of play. It's one of my most anticipated games for next year. I'm freaking hyped, and I think they're going to do a really good job. I have a lot of faith in them, so I'm feeling good, and I like these shows of just, hey, show me 10 minutes, show me 15 minutes. In this case, it's showing 30 plus minutes, which is awesome, of footage, so do more of these is number one, I should say. And number two, you might be asking yourself, and if you're not, let me introduce this topic. Okay, well, we had heard rumors that there was going to be a state of play in September, and look, September generally is that month. They normally do one at the end of May, early June. Those tend to not be the greatest, and then they also do ones in September. September ones are not half bad. In fact, that's kind of putting it lightly. The September ones tend to be pretty darn good. That's where you get some of the bigger ones. You could go back years to when there was an actual PlayStation showcase in September, and we've had a couple really good events. Let's just say that, all right? So we've heard about it, and, we've actually heard, I believe, from Jeff Grubb, like this kind of back and forth. Maybe it's a showcase, maybe it's a state of play. It seems to have been downgraded by him specifically. Like, it seems like it's going to be a state of play, but that's the news, or that's, I guess, the rumor, is that, in case you were wondering, there should still be a legitimate state of play. This is not the only thing that PlayStation is going to do. I think it came from somebody trying to call him out, which is like, he doesn't get everything right. Okay, he does get stuff wrong, but as I've said in his defense multiple times, these state of plays, like specifically PlayStation state of plays, he gets them right. He knows when they are. Now, they generally are the same time every year, but he sticks to his guns and he tends to be right. So someone tried to call him out, and he did say, it's still expected to happen. He even said, I'm not trying to hype it up. It could have some cool stuff in it, but I'm expecting a mostly standard state of play. So there goes the showcase, by the way, and we'll talk about the whole mostly standard stuff in a second. Then we actually had somebody ask him about Marvel's Wolverine, and he does say there's a chance, but I expect the God of War spinoff more, and even that is a question since it's not coming out till next year now. And at least from what I can tell, that's it. I did see somebody comment about Nate the Hate. I thought Nate the Hate was talking about a Nintendo thing, but somebody said that he was talking about a PlayStation thing, so maybe that comes to light over the next couple days, because I think there is maybe supposed to be a Nintendo thing perhaps next week. Look, I think with a state of play like Bond tomorrow, would you really, a week later, probably I would say later in September, at the end of September, you would do, a state of play. Really, you know what it is? It's before Ghost of Yotei, because it's like your one last chance, much like they've done with Death Stranding before, right? It's a good chance, one last time, to show Ghost of Yotei, and weirdly enough, that would still probably be your major first party game, right? You still have Soros. See, Soros is the thing that's always made me believe, even through this 007 thing, that you're still gonna get a state of play, because we know that we're supposed to get gameplay for Soros later this year. That's what they said towards the beginning of the year, right? So that's still coming, and could that happen at say the Game Awards? Yeah, but I think it was announced at State of Play, wasn't it? So it's just a weird thing to announce it and then say, okay, well, you're going to see more of it later, and to be talking about the last thing of the year just kind of feels weird. So I imagine the top two, at least, of a State of Play, say the end of September, would be Ghost of Yotei showing it one final time, and then Soros. And then after that, take your pick. And as I guess the one thing to say, though, is it's not Wolverine is not 0% chance. At least there's a small chance. I actually lose hope every day with Wolverine, so I'm not going to say I'm really hopeful, and in fact, actually, I think I've said before, I actually think God of War, that does make sense to me. Ghost of Yotei, Soros, Marathon, you got to consider, fair game money symbol, that game seems like it's in massive trouble, though I wouldn't be surprised if it's canceled, so you probably don't have that, so I guess Ghost, Soros, and Marathon, maybe Marathon, and that's if things go well there, and then you have to start thinking, okay, well, what's after that? God of War, and then Wolverine, if a Venom thing is still happening, Intergalactic, like that's kind of wave 2. So those are the ones that would come to mind. And remember, like state of plays are generally not first party things, right? There's going to be a lot of third party stuff. So I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. Like September state of plays are generally good. And you give me a couple games, I'm probably going to be happy no matter what. But, I hope. I mean, like I've said before, like if Wolverine, every show that Wolverine doesn't show up on, I think it becomes more and more embarrassing. So, I mean, that's just my stance, on that situation. We'll see what happens. But I do, if nothing else, then for Ghost and for Saros, those are the two main reasons, even without Jeff Grubb's rumor, that I would still believe there's a state of play coming in September beyond the 007 thing. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.